What dating app would Count Dracula be on if he could?
Oh, he's delicious.
The Daffodilia.
So these are called hardneck.
Dracula!
He was impaling marshmallows on sticks.
Yeah, oh. These guys are like, it's garlic. You're going to love it.
Yeah. How many garlic bulbs? One, two garlic bulbs.
Welcome to the Helpful Gardeners podcast. Spooky month. Today, you might know what we're talking about, and I don't know if I can go very long with these teeth in my mouth.
I have to mention, so before we got to recording, Brandy and I were having an actual serious discussion on like a personal note.
Yeah.
And I burst out laughing in the middle of something because how can you possibly have a serious discussion with somebody dressed like Countess Dracula?
Yeah.
Like this, is there a Countess Dracula? I mean, there's like Spider-Woman.
Hey, sign me up.
And yeah, like... yeah.
I'll find you on Tinder.
Yes.
What dating app would Count Dracula be on if he could? Hinge? Because the coffin? I'm going to take these out. I actually can't talk. There we go. Hello. Actually, while we're on the topic of teeth, it was brought up in the last episode that my face looked weird. So I just want to take a moment to address that I had dental surgery and my falsie snapped. So I'm kind of I'm a little more holy this week. So it looks a little weird, but it's the same old Brandy. So there we go.
Dental surgery sucks.
It really does.
Yeah, dental surgery, because I've had a ton of surgery and nowhere else have I like had my knee put back together and they're like, okay, we couldn't put the staples in, so we duct taped it. Why don't you pop back in 2 weeks? Like nobody, and if you're a dentist watching this, respect whatever. But yeah, dental surgery does. It's
one of those things. And so I'm going to try and see if I can get a temporary put in so I can look a little bit more normal. But for now, it fits with spooky month.
It does.
And I dug in the wardrobe for this. My mom made this when I was 12. I know.
I thought you bought it.
No, my mom. So I've had this since I was 12.
Oh
it was for Halloween. I was a witch. And then, but I was like, well, this could just double team into a Dracula outfit.
100%. So. It's more, I actually thought you bought a vampire cloak. I was like,
just the teeth.
Yeah.
That I'm not using anymore.
Are you, this isn't like a sneak peek of your Halloween costume though, is it?
No, which by the way, we need your help to determine what Colin and I are going to dress up for in our spooky Halloween episode at the end of the month. And so over on our Instagram, which is the Helpful Gardeners Pod, head over there, give us a follow and let us know. We're going to put up a post and just get your input on what kind of Halloween costume we should wear this year. So in the past, we have dressed up as garden gnomes. That was really fun. That was last year's episode. Now we need your help in determining what we're going to wear for this year's.
Yeah, it's interesting because I'm game for dressing up as anything.
Like, should we be our favorite vegetable or should we be our scariest garden pest
or dinosaurs
or dinosaurs? Yeah, there we go. Favorite flavor of Oreo. Can you imagine?
Just come in as a Coca-Cola bottle. If you haven't had Coca-Cola Oreos yet, have them. They're delicious.
Yeah, they're really good.
Yeah, they're even Jimmy approved. I fed one to Jimmy because I wanted to see his face with the Pop Rocks.
And it was fine? Oh, what did you do? Right. Just not sure. He's like, what is this?
He doesn't chew them properly though because he's a dog. So you give him a treat and he's like, scrunch, scrunch. And you're like, you didn't even enjoy it. I would have really savored that, but whatever.
Yeah. Well, before we get going into this week's episode, because if you haven't guessed already, vampires don't like garlic. And this time of year, we like to plant garlic. Yep. And so we're going to talk about planting garlic bulbs, the types of garlic that you can get, and also a little bit into what the deal is with vampires and garlic. I thought we would have some fun this week. So
I'm curious on that one.
Yeah.
I genuinely don't know. And I'm still thinking.
You have your theories.
Yeah.
But before we get going, I just want to talk about in the garden this week, some garden news to pass along. Did you know there was a new type of hybrid bulb released?
I saw that.
Out of the States. It's called the Daffodilia. And this one is from a farm down in Washington, farmer Kelsey from the Cattle and Cut Flowers, family-run flower farm. And they created
that
Fa-
3 times fast.
Family run flower farm. Family
Yeah.
run flower farm. Family run flower farm. Family
Yeah.
run flower farm. Anyway, so essentially, it looks like a dahlia and a daffodil put together.
Yeah, it's got like the individual geometric, I
Mhm.
should say, petals of the dahlia,
Mhm.
and it's got the daffodil trumpet.
Yeah.
It's stunning.
It's really stunning.
Yeah.
And what's cool about this one is that it was discovered by mistake. But I think this is going to be a very popular flower.
Oh, you come out with a new phone
Mhm.
and it takes off and everybody wants it. Okay, sure, your initial run, you won't be able to meet supply and demand.
Yeah.
But by your second or your third run, no problem.
Yeah.
Okay, you just have your ramp up production, get extra facilities, whatever it takes. But you cannot ramp up production on this.
Mhm.
It takes the time it takes.
Yeah.
End of story.
Yeah.
You're going to have a limited number of viable seeds that you then have to grow. You won't be able to sell them all because you need to keep some to grow more.
Yeah.
The demand versus the supply, I think, is going to be peak for, I'd say, 5 to 6 years.
Yeah. What's interesting too is you think about the kind of benefits, like it's more than just aesthetic, right? There's got to be different benefits. Like it says that it has no known diseases or viruses that can impact it. Like I wonder what kind of benefits they would have gotten from the dahlia and the daffodil separately that would then benefit it together as one flower. So I don't know. It's interesting. Something I saw in the news this week, and we'll definitely be keeping an eye on it and see how it goes with the daffodilia.
I'm just saying I might have to call some of my business connections and see if anybody can get me some.
Yeah. Let's move on to planting garlic this time of year. I think what's really interesting about garlic, and one of the most popular questions I get about garlic is, why can you plant garlic in the spring and the fall?
It's 2 different types.
Okay.
Lean on your independent garden center. What the garlic bulbs we're carrying in October are the correct ones to be planted in October.
Right.
We're not going to have the ones that you should be planting in April, May, weather permitting. Right away, lean on that. But what the difference is, because I'm not just going to leave it there. That's just rely on us. You don't need to know.
You don't need to know the answer.
If you look, all of these garlics, okay. Oops, I hit my microphone. I'm going to hold these up, and there's a commonality on all of them. It's so obvious, you're probably overlooking it. It's like hidden in plain sight, if you will.
They're all pink?
Nope. The big stem in the middle.
Wait.
So these are called hardneck. When you open a garlic bulb and the cloves are centered around a main stem, and the stem goes down, it's got the big chunk at the bottom, and they're all off that, and you peel them off the stem, that's called the hardneck. And the hardneck is more resistant to the cold and the frost, so you can plant it in the fall. The other ones that you plant in the spring, the other varieties, are what they call the soft neck variety. Now, the cloves do cluster, but if you look in the middle, normally it's a clove. It's not a stem, okay? It might be a very thin stem. And what I've heard from people is autumn garlic tends to be bigger cloves and a more robust, stronger flavor.
Huh.
And the spring ones, the soft neck, tends to be slightly smaller with a milder taste. So I love garlic. Jenny likes it. She doesn't love it. So Jenny would be more of a soft neck garlic person. I would be more of a hard neck garlic person. So those are the main characteristics of the garlic.
So essentially, if you have some garlic that you didn't plant from the spring, don't plant them in the fall because it won't look.
They're not viable.
No.
They don't have the physicality to survive the freezing weather they're going to get. It's a bulb. Keep it in a cool, dry location. Get it in the ground next spring.
Love that. They all seem to be the same size. And so planting should be generally the same thing among the different varieties, hey?
Follow the directions, but really it's a bulb. You want to make sure it's deep enough, fit a couple of bulbs on top, dig your hole, and get them in. So when you're doing your tulips, a lot of times people will put them through their perennial beds. So in the spring, you don't really have to do anything. The tulips are coming up. You're not moving your perennials. You're not doing anything. People tend to plant garlic in their vegetable beds. Well, in the spring, you probably need to work your vegetable bed. So it's a really, really good idea to flag where you've put them. So when you put them in, popsicle sticks, plant markers, whatever it takes to remember, oh, this is my cluster of garlic. Last thing you want to do is put a shovel through it or dig them up and disturb them. dig out a whole row, make sure it's very visible, like do the furrow, and plant them in that. And that's my garlic row. I'm not going to disturb that because, and we've touched on this before, garlic is a great companion plant. Mm-hmm. Garlic keeps away a lot of bugs. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that would be the other thing I would look out for at this time of year is where you planted them.
One question I had from online was, can I plant garlic in raised beds?
I don't want to say no, but no. I said I didn't want to say it.
Basically not advised, hey?
When you're in the ground, when you sink something into the ground, you have nothing but ground around it. So it can only go, the frost and the freezing only goes down a certain depth. Now that ground will be frozen, but it's not a solid block of ice. You take a raised planter and there is nothing protecting that from the wind. I saw raised planters. They're actually in Bowness. You know that drive down 16th, for people who live in Calgary. If you don't live in Calgary, we have where they did the Olympics and the ski jump hills. That area they just built there, it's got a little shopping mall in it. Mm-hmm. They put raised planters in. But these raised planters are huge. They're about my height, so they're 6 feet, maybe a little bit smaller. And they've got to be, 15, 20 feet across.
Wow.
And they have spruce trees in the middle.
Oh, no.
And a spruce tree is a zone 2.
Yeah.
Okay, where is zone 3?
Yeah.
Every single spruce tree is dead.
Oh, no.
Yeah. If they're not dead, they are on their way out. Yeah. They're a third alive. Have you ever dug up a garden in the winter?
No.
Okay, most people haven't for good reason. You go to kick your shovel in and it's like kicking it into metal. Mm-hmm. So I've had to put my trowel on the ground before and take a mallet and hammer it in. But once you break whatever it might be, 1 inch, 2 inches, 3 inches, the ground beneath that is dry and frozen, but it's still soft and viable because it's been insulated. That top freezes. Well, it can only freeze so much. Think of it like this. If you have a lake, that lake might only freeze 3 inches on the top, even though it's exposed to minus 40 all the time. You take a glass, doesn't matter how deep it is, you can make it this deep and put it in your freezer, it freezes solid all the way to the bottom.
Right.
Because all of it is exposed to the elements. So I've seen people insulate them with various forms of insulation. I have seen people make them big. I've seen everything. Every once in a while, a few bulbs come up. Most of them die.
It's going to be a challenge.
Too solid. I just, you're wasting your time and your money for what you can get. If you have a raised planter and you're like, I am going to try it, go for it. You know how much I love that.
Yeah.
I love, maybe you've got a unique spot. Maybe it's just insulated enough. Like maybe, and you have success. That's why I said I don't want to say no.
Yes.
But I really don't recommend it. If that's all you're doing, I wouldn't do that. But if you're like, well, I've got 9 bulbs. I'm going to do 8 in my vegetable plot. I'm going to put 1 in my raised planter. Let me know how it works out.
Yeah.
I do know somebody who did have luck growing garlic in a kind of raised planter.
Oh.
So they grew garlic in their veggie pod.
Wait, over winter?
Yeah. Yeah. They put garlic in their veggie pod. Now, here's the thing though, talking about insulation. The veggie pod was heavily sheltered. They had the winter cover on it, so they trapped heat. In Calgary, we do get some warm weather, so it wasn't a very hard winter. And they were not as successful as if it had been in the ground, but it wasn't a pathetic harvest. Okay, but veggie pods are designed for growing vegetables above ground, and they did okay with it. So I want to put that out there because that's also a shout out to our good friends Veggie Pod.
Yeah, shout out.
Yeah, so I wanted to mention that, and then I got sidetracked talking about the big planters in Bowness.
No, I love that. I love that. Do you plant the whole bulb? Or I've heard some people recommend to break up the bulb and then to plant the little cloves individually.
Honestly, I put the whole bulb in.
You do?
Yeah.
And you get garlic, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
and
so...
some people like to break it up. Some people, you know what? My favorite thing about garlic is the flower.
Oh, interesting.
My favorite thing about garlic is the flower.
Yeah.
You know the allium bulb?
Yes.
That's part of the garlic family. Yeah. So I love the bright purple flower. You see garlic growing wild in the forests in Quebec. But I do know some people who break it up. They may break it into an individual. They might just snap the bulb into 4. Whatever that, again, that's personal choice. Mm-hmm. That's personal choice. It absolutely will do fine as a bulb. It will do good broken up as well.
I know you said garlic bulbs are really great at preventing, like deer or like, so I think the smell of the garlic will prevent a lot. So do you think you'll need things like blood meal still or?
Doesn't hurt. And here's the thing. There's certain animals, squirrels, I'm looking at you. I've seen it before. So we talked about this where daffodils are poisonous. Okay, so the squirrels won't eat them.
Right.
Remember I said they won't eat them. I didn't say they won't dig them up and throw them around your garden. You come into my garden and just trash it and sit on my fence and be like, what you gonna do? Huh? I'm like, why, man? You put the bulb in and then you cover it up and you do stuff and it's fall and leaves are falling on it. The squirrel might be like, oh, why is this ground soft? I'm going to dig here. And it might not get the smell until too late. And then your bulb's exposed. Scattering of that. Then also in the spring, when it does start melting and warming up and that breaks down, you're just putting a fertilizer into the soil.
Great. Perfect. Yeah. And then, I mean, same thing with bone meal. Now, because we're eating and consuming garlic, is it still okay to use a product like bone meal on your bulb? Like it's not going to impact it. Like this is an organic matter. So.
Yeah. Absolutely. Look at if organics is your thing, look at organics or not organic. That's a personal choice. I know some people using blood meal and bone meal, they don't want to use it because they're vegan.
Okay.
And they go, I don't want my plants growing with that. I don't want to buy that. It is a byproduct of the industry, et cetera, et cetera. But I totally understand why some people may be like, nope, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
You don't have to. There's other things you can use as other plant starters and whatnot. Bone meal, it's not going to hurt.
Perfect. Okay.
Yeah.
So the ones that we have in store right now, and obviously like garden centers across the country are going to have different types of garlic.
Yep.
But why does this say, like this one says regular?
That's just standard garlic.
Just like standard garlic. Okay.
That's like,
I've never heard of like standard tulip, standard carrot.
Again, why do people grow their food, right? And we've talked about this at length. And one of the main reasons, people want food sovereignty. They want to control, is it organic? Is it not organic? Bug spray, not bug spray. They want to control those aspects. Money savings. But we know the main reason people grow their food is because of the available variety. So when it says regular, that's the one that you find in Superstore.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
cool.
If I go into Superstore to buy garlic, they don't have, what do we got? We got 6 choices here.
Yeah.
Superstore don't have 2. I got a garlic, a little while ago from the farmer's market. Oh my God. I was almost crying cutting up garlic.
Really?
Yeah. Like I don't cry when I cut up onions. And the garlic was like, whew. There's some fumes coming off this one.
And that was like the hard neck garlic.
Yeah. I know it probably, to be honest, I genuinely can't remember if it was hard or soft. I want to say hard because of that, but I can't say 100%.
Yeah.
But there's different, you know how you get like sweet onion, purple onion, Spanish onion, all the same kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
So some of them, you're getting a flavor profile. Some of them might be like a little bit nuttier. Some of them might be higher than this. And that's, it's not really the color you're looking for because as far as I know, most of the time the flowers are kind of the same. There might be a different size on the flowers, but they all kind of look the same. What you're growing it for is your flavor. And that, unfortunately, is a question that we can't answer. No,
and it's funny because the packaging doesn't really even tell you either kind of what the flavor profile is. So
isn't that funny? Because a lot of times when we go downstairs and we see the rhubarb or the raspberry, it'll tell you more like a more tart flavor, sweeter, does whatever. You would think they would do that with the garlic.
These guys are like, it's garlic. You're going to love it.
Yeah. If you like garlic, you can't go wrong.
Yeah. Well, you know who doesn't like garlic? Dracula.
Okay, there's a con.
Segue.
There's a con on vampires. Yeah. No, I love garlic bread.
I do.
Garlic bread is so you would make a bad vampire then.
I would make a bad vampire.
Yeah.
But I thought it would be fun this week to go into a little bit of what the deal is between garlic and vampires. Because you think we love garlic. Garlic's great. Garlic's been around for a long time. Why did it become such a popular thing in pop culture for vampires to not like garlic? There's a popular theory out on the interwebs about how the origin of vampire is sort of rooted to this disease called porphyria,
Okay.
which is caused by irregularities in your blood. Some forms of the disease causes sufferers to be insensitive to or to be sensitive to light, disfigurement of the skin, erosion of your lips and gums. Those with porphyria also have an intolerance to foods that are high in sulfur content, like
garlic.
Garlic.
And onions and leek, but you don't see people walking around with a leek hanging off their neck.
No. Just garlic. But that was apparently the origins of vampire, where like of the vampire character would have come from. However.
Oh, okay, good. There's more. Good.
There's more.
Good.
What is it? What did they say on Reddit? There's an update.
There's not.
So there's a few theories why garlic specifically.
Yeah.
So some people think that it's tied to ancient Egypt and Romania, where garlic was used as a natural insect repellent, a natural antibiotic, and as protection against other evils.
Interesting.
So garlic itself could cure vampirism because it's a super strong natural antibiotic. If used properly, it could kill most infections. I mean, I don't know if garlic could be used to kill, for example, like porphyria, like the original sort of disease. I don't know if that is sort of in the antibiotic. But it's interesting that garlic is like a strong medicinal.
Well, the thing is, I never put that together. I have heard about that. I have heard how healthy garlic is for your immune system.
Yeah.
So I'm eating garlic toast for my health.
Exactly. Here's your green light.
Yeah.
But yeah, apparently vampires are assumed to have heightened senses due to their condition. So things with strong smells could naturally repel them. We were also just talking about the natural insect repellent. You know, like what was it that we use for mosquitoes?
I'm like literally the person who buys it.
Oh no, it's called mosquito barrier.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's like a powder, right?
There's no liquid.
It's a liquid.
Yep.
And it's just like so it's an extract and you put it in your spray bottle and you spray it on.
There's a hose end attachment and a spray bottle.
Yeah. So it's the idea behind it is that the smell of garlic will repel mosquitoes or wildlife.
So that actually works. Fun story segue. Years and years ago, I was on the floor and a woman came in and she bought like 9 bottles.
Whoa.
And I was like, what the hell? And I was like, do you have a problem? Because, and she's like, oh, this weekend we're having a backyard wedding and we don't want everybody smelling like mosquito spray. So I'm going to spray this all over the property.
So you want them smelling like garlic?
But here's the thing. She sprayed it. And I spoke to her after because I'm like, oh, you got to come in and tell me how this works. And she was a regular shopper here. She didn't come out of the way. And she sprayed it like 2 days before the wedding. Mm-hmm. The smell totally dissipated to us. Not one mosquito at the wedding.
What?
Yep. Total shout. I'm so glad you mentioned that because I've never told that story and maybe I should because it's absolutely fantastic. But she was like, oh, I'm using this stuff every year, wedding or not. So Jimmy, my dog, again, because I know not everybody keeps up with us or we may have new listeners. And didn't somebody comment they thought Jimmy was my kid?
And it's just funny because you think back on all the stories you've said about Jimmy and you're like, oh gosh.
Yeah, I just talked about feeding him an Oreo. So I make a lot of salads. I cut up a lot of veggies. And Jimmy, he's such a good boy. He loves his veggies. Mm-hmm. Loves carrot, loves cucumber. Onion is bad for dogs, but he loves onion. So I always give him a little bit. And he'll sit there and eat onion. Okay.
Oh.
Give him garlic and he's like, no.
Oh, he doesn't even like it.
No, he will not. I think it's so so strong to his nose that he visibly pulls his head away. And we know that it's deer resistant and we know that it's companion plant to repel bugs. But maybe if other dogs aren't doing it and vampires did have the ability to turn into wolves. So maybe that was a tie-in. I'm inventing my own law here.
You're putting like Twilight lore in our podcast?
Well, I've never watched Twilight.
Oh, okay. Buffy?
No.
I love Buffy.
Last good vampire thing I think I saw. Oh, there was a Netflix, Midnight Mass.
Oh, I did see that. Those ones were scary.
That was a great series. You know what they didn't have on that island?
What?
Garlic.
That's right.
Yeah, so I'm just saying.
What kind of vampire would you want to attract to your garden, and how would you do so?
I want a vampire bat.
Like, just like an actual.
When I was a kid and I found out that vampire, because when I was a kid, you believe in monsters and then you're told, no, vampires aren't real. Okay. And then they're like, but there are vampire bats. You're like, come on, make your mind. But like vampire bats are real.
Yeah. They're kind of scary looking, hey?
And they have a natural anesthetic in their saliva.
Oh.
So when they bite the cattle, that's normally what they feed on. They land on the side of a cow. They bite it. The cow doesn't feel the fangs go in.
Mm-hmm. So what do you think came first, the vampire bat or the disease?
I mean, I gotta say the bat, but I don't really know.
Yeah.
I gotta say the bat, but
or maybe there was a person who had the disease and also had a bat living in their house.
Because and the thing is that bats. I don't know specifically vampire bats. I haven't read that much about them, but bat colonies are notorious for having rabies.
Oh,
okay. So, you got to think, I mean, we're going back in time when, there was nothing to look up. Most people were illiterate. The only facts they ever really got, facts and news they got, were from the church or their liege lord at the time. Mm-hmm. So a biased reporting, to say the least. And people were hella superstitious. Somebody gets bitten by a bat and then exhibits signs of rabies, or gets that blood disease.
Yeah,
it wouldn't be a stretch, because I always thought as well that vampire law started with Vlad Tepes, Vlad the Impaler. Yeah, you instantly start. Normally,
the first thing that Google asks is, What is Vlad the Impaler famous for? I wonder. Impaling?
Oh yeah, that's
right. Okay, got it.
Doesn't say why he was impaling. Maybe he was impaling marshmallows on sticks.
Yeah. Oh, it's a s'more master. I forgot about. So you've never seen Buffy?
No.
Never seen Twilight?
The Count from Sesame Street.
I love the Count.
Yeah. One.
That's how you would attract Count Dracula to you, right? I'd be like, I really need help counting these things.
How many garlic bulbs? One. 2 garlic bulbs.
You know what's so funny? You come up with the most family-friendly vampire, and then here I am being like, Eric Northman from True Blood. He's dreamy.
Yeah. No, the Count was awesome. He was so. I love. Wait,
what's Count Chocula?
He's delicious. He is.
He is delicious.
Yeah. Fun fact. He is.
I'm like,
I went from family friendly.
Totally. This episode's going to be rated R. Oh my goodness.
So they've got Count Chocula, Frankenberry, and Booberry. Mm-hmm. Do you know why Booberry is the lowest selling one?
Because it's blueberry.
Yeah, and people don't like blue food.
No, they don't.
Because they believe that it's moldy.
Unless it's blue raz.
Yeah, well, blue raspberry. Don't even get me. I could go on.
I forgot about Vampire Diaries. And now I can't pick my favorite vampire.
So 2 movies that were really, really good. Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Okay, yeah.
Bram Stoker's Dracula with Gary Oldman, Winona Ryder, Keanu Reeves, and Interview with the Vampire.
Oh my gosh, was that the one with Brad Pitt?
Yeah, and Tom Cruise.
Yeah, I forgot about that one.
And Kirsten Dunst.
That's right. That's right. They were so young in that movie, hey?
Antonio Banderas. As if that guy, he's Spanish, as if he's scared of garlic.
Did you ever hear about Barnabas Collins?
Nope.
So that's from a ABC daytime serial Dark Shadows, which aired in the 60s.
They are re-releasing the classic, like black and white, early Hollywood classic, Nosferatu. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I don't know what that was.
Oh, Nosferatu is scary.
Ooh, that is. Oh, wow. That is definitely one of the more famous vampire faces.
Yeah,
for sure.
It's full on creepy. Like there's nothing, one thing that they've definitely done. Interview with a Vampire did it. Bram Stoker, Dracula did it. They definitely romanticized the vampire.
Yeah.
Back in the day, the vampire was to be terrified. Now they're like suave and.
If you want vampires to come to your yard, don't plant garlic.
Yeah. But if you want to be safe.
if you want to be safe, plant all the garlic and plant it in the fall and in the spring.
Yep.
Just know the differences and go to your local garden center and make sure you've got the right kind. Make sure you're following the planting instructions on the back and enjoy, because there's so many varieties that you can get in garlic.
And if you're unsure, honestly, look at the picture. Like all of them, even, let me grab this one, even the regular garlic, you can see it's got that big central stem.
Yeah.
So always just keep your eye out for that. If you are looking for a specific taste, a Google search, like what is the strongest hardneck garlic, like strongest flavor, I'm sure Google is going to point you down the right path for that. Enjoy. And just if you make garlic bread and you want to drop some off in the studio, I will prove I'm not a vampire and ideas for Halloween costumes.
That's right. Exactly. Yeah. If you're in the Calgary area, come visit us at Golden Acre Home Garden. We got a lot of autumn stuff coming around. It's really exciting season here. We're also getting ready for our second most favorite time of the year. We've started preparations for that. More details coming soon. But if you're listening over on Spotify and YouTube, let us know how you're enjoying the autumn season, how you're enjoying all of these autumn-inspired videos that we're putting out weekly. Let us know how we're doing. Leave us a comment, leave us a review, and give us a follow if you haven't already. We are on Instagram under the Helpful Gardeners Pod, so give us a follow over there and make sure, as Colin mentioned, let us know what we should be dressed up for Halloween this year. I always have so much fun with our little Halloween episodes.
No limits. You don't, obviously we're going to lean towards garden stuff. Come on, there's so many different things. But if you're like vampire, be as creative as you want. It doesn't have to be garden stuff. Like have some fun with it, and we'll do the rest.
Exactly. And next week we're going to be talking we're continuing Spooky Month, and we're going to be talking about what the deal is with scarecrows and corn. So we're going to be talking about corn mazes. We're also going to do a little throwback.
Scarecrows can be creepy.
Scarecrows can be creepy. So we're going to talk about the history of scarecrows and why we use them and why they're so important for a lot of farmers, especially. And also, we're going to be talking a little bit about some famous corn in the province of Alberta and its history there. So excited to dive into that next week. We'll catch you then.
Bye, everyone.